Hello, hello. It is week 10 and week 11 in this video. We're talking a 2-week assignment because it's going to take a little more extra effort and preparation. And so I'm bumping this into 2 weeks. Week 10 and 11. Uh, I'll get into that here in a second. But gosh, first year, I was just like thinking back to like my first year of teaching, and although that was like 13 years ago. I remember, like, I don't know, my third or fourth year teaching, like thinking back on my first year teaching, and I was like, gosh, I didn't even know what I didn't know. Like, I was so clueless. I tried so hard. And that's what you do. You just try everything and you do what you can, you get by, you absorb all that you can, you get overwhelmed because there's a million things that you have to absorb and you have to know to be successful. But then I tell you what, by year 5, I wish it took shorter. I wish it didn't take that long. But by year 5, you really get the hang of things, and you're still growing and you're still changing at that point. And then it just gets better and easier after that. And then you find your groove, right? And so, what advice I have for you is, I mean, there are things you don't even know that you don't know. And to help the best with your preparations your first year is just to plan, right? Just to be a good planner. If there's anything you're good at, it should be planning, right? That should not be a weakness. It can't be a weakness. You won't survive if it is. So plan, especially on the topic of science, because as elementary teachers, science is the thing that's put on the back burner the most. And I, as your science education college teacher or professor, I want to tell you that you can't put that on the back burner. And ways to not put it on the back burner, even though you might get advice to be like, oh, you're gonna have to skip science to do this reading lesson, because you or we're going to tell you to do that, but there are ways around that. You can put science into your reading lesson, or just like do some interdisciplinary lessons, which is a little bit more challenging. But once you find the ones that you like, they bleed into each other and they help each other out. They're just a helping hand. The lessons, I mean, in teaching kids the appropriate concepts, right? Okay, so today, though, we're going to talk about building a science lesson plan. And one of my biggest gripes about college was that I had to write perfectly detailed lesson plans of every single lesson. And now, as I am a veteran teacher, my lesson plans, I'll share a document with you, but it is like I plan my whole unit. This is what I do day 1. These are the resources I need. And then I'll add another column. This is the standard that I'm focusing on today, and then day 2, right? It's not a like 7-page document for a lesson plan, and that's not realistic. Should you know and understand how to do one completely? Yes, you should, because when you do formal evaluations, your principal will ask for a very detailed lesson plan, including the targets and the objectives and the standards that you're aiming for there. But I'm going to provide a template for you that has like almost the bare minimum that you need to focus on, right? And there's another issue that I see in all the templates that I've found that I've trying to like modify. A lot of them don't mention like asking what the kids are supposed to be thinking or figuring out, which is like kind of discouraging. Isn't that like, shouldn't that be like one of the highest priorities? Like, yes, you put the standard, but then I think there should be another section that says, well, how are you going to get students to think about this? And like, what's the process here? Well, if they are going to learn how plants and animals work, first of all, you got to start out with what are they, right? And so that's the thinking that's the thinking process that you should go through first before you're teaching your kids. Like, no, you can't teach a kid that a plant cell has a cell wall or the other cell doesn't without knowing the difference between the two, or why that is. And so I'll provide a template for you. This is the lesson from week 10 and 11. This is the lesson that you will be presenting to us at the end of the semester as your final test grade. Okay, this is your semester test. This presentation will count as your test grade. And so I will help you with the bones here. I'm going to give you the template. You're going to fill it out. I'll provide feedback on that. And after you get your feedback, you'll make modifications, you'll revise it a little bit perhaps, and then you'll be ready for teaching us your lessons. We will turn into your students, and you will be the science teacher. And geez, I encourage you, because like I just said, science is like the back burner thing. I encourage you to mix a math standard in there, mix a reading standard in there, bonus points for that kind of thing, right? But if you are not at that level yet, that's okay. Just focus on the science. Just focus on the science standard and crush that. Okay, because that's where you're going to start. You're going to start with the science standard. But if you are well versed in other standards like reading and math, and you're like, well, this ties really easily into proportions and analyzing graphs, which is what my kids are doing in the math unit. Like, we can tie it together. You can tie it together. Or like populations of organisms, right? You can tie that into like pie charts or whatever, right? Um, but you'll have to check your grade standards there. All right, so I'll post that template. You want to get started on that and turn that in. If you're working on the week by week schedule, you turn it in by next Wednesday, November 9 plus 7 is 16. November 16th. You wanna maybe get that lesson plan in by, if you're working on the week by week schedule. Okay. And then but I'll put the due date as December, because some of you are wanting to work asynchronously, and that's okay. But some of you want to work week by week, and that's okay too. So you submit the work, and I'm grading it as I get it each week. So all right. Well, best of luck to you, and we'll talk soon. Bye.